On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a-leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Hey everyone, hi, Dr. Dave Lucas here. We're on day 11 of the 12 days of Christmas. Now I know lots have happened since we began this saga of 12 days of Christmas, but we're going to finish. So you'll be watching for our final one, which probably will follow up here in just a little while so that we can get them all put together. But welcome. Glad you're here. Hope you haven't forgotten our 10 other days that we've already charted for you. Remember, we've talked about this song as being originating in France originally back in the 700s, early, and then later in the 1700s becoming very popular across over into England, and then the 1800s over into the United States, and now has become one of the most popular Christmas songs that is in the U.S. and the Northern Hemisphere here in the United States. And we're talking today about 11 pipers piping, and you might think, what the heck is that all about? It's pretty simple to understand. From the very beginning, even really during the Crusades, all these different mighty armies, almost without exception, they all had some kind of fife corps that would follow along and give rhythm to the marching of the different soldiers. And the fife was a small hand flute that could be played really with one hand. Now, if you remember our Revolutionary War, we had, remember that guy with the bandage on his head, and the flutist, flautist as sometimes it's called, and the drummer, and the person carrying the flag and so forth. Well, this was a standard for almost every army. Flutes or flautists, several of them, drummers, and we'll talk about those in the next and final day. So what happened was, then as this became prevalent, these people who learned to play this flute with one hand, had 3 holes, they got themselves a tamboli, we now call them tambourines, and they had it on a stick on the other hand, and so they could play the flute. This took a lot of coordination, and play the flute and then do the tramboli, and so they were traveling one-man band. They hired themselves out, especially at these little fairs, market days, where they would be off in the corner during festivals, celebrations, and they would play their different songs, and people would put money in their hat. Or they would be hired to come to a house to play for a birthday party or for some sort of celebration. And then, in the 1700s especially, this became very popular for middle-class families to hire a flautist or flutist, several of them maybe, and others, and set up a little band. And so to get 11 pipers piping at Christmas time would be quite a nice gift and would be very pleasant, and they would play various songs, sometimes for hours, because they were musicians, they loved to play. And this pictures them playing lively little songs that made everybody happy, and people could sing along, because actually, if you think about it, they just provide some tone background. And so those people who like to vocalize and sing together. They often appeared in the taverns and what we would now consider the pubs, and they would play in the corner in the background, and people would sing and have a grand old time. So at Christmas celebrations, this was very popular to have flautists playing their flutes, playing music, and especially at this time would have been Christmas kinds of tunes. And this was heard throughout all of Europe, not only France, England, up into northern Scotland, and all that whole area, Ireland, all of that is very popular and was very popular and was made popular in this song. So notice also we're not doing the pipers a piping. They're just piping. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that we have 11 pipers piping, and that was part of this celebration. And you were like hiring your band. So it's not much different than hiring chamber orchestra today. A little bit more sophisticated instruments today, but a very similar kind of thing. So you threw a real good party if you had your flautist there for that event. 11 pipers piping. Are you ready? You're going to help me here, I hope. I'm not in very good voice, so I'm hoping that you'll join me as we close this particular session. And be watching. I'll be right back with number 12, okay? 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a-leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.